Good evening, everybody. This is Season 6, Episode 8 of the CatchMark SportsNet Podcast, brought to you by Chris Wank Real Estate of Coldwell Banker Woodland Schmidt. It's Monday, February 10th? 12th, geez.
2 days to Valentine's.
Last year I got the last week I got the day wrong. Because I make these notes every week, and sometimes we move it around. I can't keep things straight. No wonder why I can't get stuff done here. I got it February 10th. It's 12th, yeah, 2 days. You got plans for that or not? Do you have to have plans for that after you've been married a while?
We have practice. Can't do much about it.
Right.
I got a little cheer comp to go to.
Not much, really.
Yeah. So before we let these gentlemen speak anymore, and we want them to speak a lot, we should probably introduce them so you guys know who they are. But a lot of you probably know who they are. So we'll start off with Reeths-Puffer boys basketball coach Nate Aardema. Folks around White Lake know him well. That's probably a good thing, right?
Probably. In most cases, hopefully.
We have senior Antrel Jones. How's it going?
It's good. It's been good.
And junior Brayden Mitchelson. How are you doing?
Pretty good.
Good. Saw your uncle. I think Tim's your uncle, right?
Yeah.
Saw him at Meyer the other day. We were talking about you being on the podcast.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah, so anyhow, pleased to have you guys on. Having a great season. I know things didn't go the way you wanted Friday night, but still having a phenomenal season, 15-2. 9-1 in the OK Green, tied for first with Muskegon. You guys, they split the two regular season games at this point, but playing great basketball. So really cool to see that. But before we dive into the discussion, just want to thank the sponsors. We're going to start off with hey, we got some a comment or two, by the way. I should throw that in there. Pittsburgh City of Champions, 1979. Hello, fellas. Do you guys know who that is?
Nope.
All right.
Is it Goody?
I'm not sure. Maybe.
It was good.
Is he a Steelers guy?
Oh, yeah. He and Joe Stein are big.
Joe Stein, yeah.
And then
all the Stein family, all Philly Steelers fans, right?
Mr. Pallett's a huge Pitt Steelers fan, isn't he?
Who, Matt is?
Yeah.
Wonder how that works.
I don't know.
Probably some family connection or something. But anyhow, Big Stone Therapies, Rescue 2.0 LLC, Grave Law, Edward Jones with financial advisor Brett Adkins, Coldwell Banker. You know Brett Adkins? Do you remember him?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a stud for back over at Oak Ridge. Coldwell Banker, Woodland Schmidt with David Dewsbury. Everyone knows David. Reeths-Puffer grad.
Yep.
White Lake resident now. Farm Bureau Insurance, the Kenny Agency. 5-star real estate leaders with Matt Parker. Kind of a shady character, but I probably shouldn't say that when I'm actually reading his sponsor list. But he's a good dude. He's very passionate about stuff. The Birdhouse.
Tim Miller is who it is.
Tim Miller. Oh, yeah. Everyone knows Tim. Yep.
Hi, Tim.
What's up, Tim? Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Scheid Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Greenridge Realty with Chris Dykeman and Sarah Reel. And then, of course, our title sponsor, which is Chris Wank Real Estate of Coldwell Banker, Woodland Schmidt, up in the New Era, Shelby area. Big sports fan. Real estate agent, can help you out in many ways. Vacant land, house sales, anything that you need along those lines. Hit him up, and he'll take care of you. So we appreciate his support of this. But back to the guys. I've been doing enough talking. What's 15-2 season so far. The 2 losses, Hudsonville, 64-51 on December 15th, and then just Muskegon this last week. What has allowed this to come together and this to happen? And anyone can feel free to chime in.
I feel like just our connections with each other, like just our bonding. We all get along so well and have a lot of fun with each other, and with really whatever we're doing, whether we're playing, just hanging out or practicing. I feel like that's just
I feel like everybody is really bought into the accepting the role aspect of being a part of a team almost.
What do you think, Nate?
Those things are incredibly important. They're also talented. They're a pretty talented group. I think we've got some of the best players in the state, some of the better players in the area as well. And definitely a handful of probably kids that could be considered all conference. And when you have talent that will work and work for each other and with each other, then good things can happen. I think that's been a lot of our season.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I don't know if you guys have done anything with Meraki or not. How much is that a big deal? How is that stuff working for you guys? Because I know there's different teams around the area that have gone with him and Dan Hunt, and just the mental side of things and the teamwork and chemistry. How's that all working?
It was actually just with him not too long ago. He would stay for practice, but we've been doing a couple things every Monday. For us, I feel like it's worked perfectly. far as the like mentality piece or like the mental piece of playing and being a team and knowing how to like work around in-game problems or the mental aspect of just playing sports.
Yeah, I feel like it's had a huge impact on like the successes.
Base, and how counterproductive is it, do you think?
Oh, it's huge. I think bringing Dan in has been one of the most impactful things I've done with any group I've coached. I would say anybody that I want to have success should hire him. Like our opponents and rivals should leave him alone. But like he spoke today about how we just get in that pothole, and how we get in that negative mind frame. Like one thing goes bad and that rolls into two and that rolls into three. And next thing you know, we're worried about all the things we can't control. And having him there, Dan, as a third party, he's like, I probably could say all the same things and it wouldn't be as impactful or as meaningful to the boys just because they hear me all the time. So having a third party there, and Dan does some stuff that I don't think of or that I don't have in my pocket, and so he's been great for us. He worked with the football team this fall, and I watched or kind of sat from afar on a session or two, and I'm like, that's a guy that I want around our kids, and ultimately, he's been hugely impactful, and he's become a part of our team, really a part of our program, and it's really been great for us.
Well, Dan does his podcast here too. He's been using this podcast space. So for those who haven't seen it, check it out. It's a good watch / listen. So some really good stuff in there. But you guys are 15-10 last year, tied for third in the OK Green. The year before, Puffer was 13-8, tied for third again. You guys are ranked number 9, AP Division I last week. I think you guys, if you're still in the top 10 or get receiving votes this week, I saw Tim Stout.
Probably not.
Well, Tim Stout posted like there's 4 Muskegon area teams that are in the rankings in some capacity. So that's pretty cool because you've got obviously Puffer, Muskegon, Whitehall, North Muskegon. So and those actually, they're all kind of in that general vicinity too. So some good basketball being played around here. 2 of them unbeaten, with Whitehall and North Muskegon. But big week this week too with the game tomorrow at Union. All right.
Yeah.
What's that?
North Muskegon ain't lost?
They're undefeated. Whitehall's undefeated. Yep.
I know Whitehall undefeated.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some great basketball being played around the Muskegon area. That was one of the things when started circling back before looking into this week. One of the things that I stated after our first Muskegon game is that I don't think everybody on the east side realized that there's more than just Muskegon on this side. Whether it's us or Whitehall or North Muskegon, and when you talk smaller schools, there's some. Grand Haven's got a great program. There's Spring Lake's always consistently good. Coopersville's having a great year.
They are.
And
That's a nice win for you guys as well.
Yeah, and so there's some great basketball being played over here, and you don't want to get in comparisons. You don't want to worry about rankings all the time, but it is nice to be recognized for the things you're doing in the season that these guys are having. But then this week it's Union tomorrow, which is an opportunity for us to feel better again. And that's not derogatory towards Union. It's about us trying to move forward and have a positive experience.
So about that, let's go back to that first Muskegon matchup. At Redmond Potter, which I think they had like a 34-game conference winning streak or something like that going. What went right, I guess, on that night and allowed you guys to kind of play your game and just do what you did? Because that was an eye-opener for a lot of people.
I feel like we were just so prepared going into the game, and we knew what we needed to do to win, to do what we wanted, and that's what ended up happening. Like, we had the energy that we needed throughout the whole night, no matter what the score was. And like we kept it on the whole game, even up 20, and we got what we wanted at the end of the night.
At what point in that game are you guys starting to? I'm sure you believe going in because you're not going to do that unless you believe. But at what point you're like, we got this. We're gonna.
I don't know about everybody else, but just me being kind of confident. I was kind of confident after the first quarter that it was just a night for us. We came into the game really prepared, and what we talked about with Dan, just him being around and him talking to us before the game, telling us that just don't let anything like stack up and just brush things off and just like let things go. And I feel like that night we just made it easy on ourselves on like the little things. We just like after a turnover, we'll just look past it and just keep playing. And after everything did happen, we kept picking each other up and kept playing our basketball. And I feel like that's why we really had success that night.
Well, you're a damn good team, so I mean, it's not like it's some surprise or fluke that it happened. You're
We
a
also
really good
started
team.
off like really, really strong.
Yeah.
Really.
But there's something to be said too for kind of brushing things off too. I watch a lot of college basketball and whatnot, and it's just such a game of runs. And whatever your favorite team is doesn't matter. But if you get watching your team and you're like, oh, you know, they're on a run, you're feeling good, and then the other team goes in and oh man, what's going on here? But it's being able to respond to that. How important is that, Nate, to be able to do that when just because the other team's good, they're trying to win too.
Yeah.
The
other team practices hard. They want to win.
A lot of the same stuff you're doing.
Yeah, it's one of the great compliments that the boys got, and people compliment me about the boys, but one of the comments was, man, they just were locked in for 32 minutes, and locked in is such a vague description, but it really was like they were focused on what I need to do this possession to win this possession, and then they'd compete for that and then move on to the next, whether it was a win or a loss. And ultimately, that's what we're trying to get them to do each game, each practice. We just want to win possessions. And I thought that at Muskegon we did a great job of just, what do I need to do? Here's my job. I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. And then you get a little momentum, and the belief grows, and it becomes easier and easier. But sometimes when you do grow that belief, you forget why you're having the success. And they stayed focused on why they're having the successes. And they've done that, majority of this year, which is pretty incredible for young people to stay focused on what they need to do to succeed.
Yeah, and Ambrose was a man-child in that game, huh? I shouldn't use the word child around that just because he's just a total man. He's got the mustache that you can never grow, I'm sure. You tried, but
Don't stop looking over
Going
here.
for the full beard now.
Yeah.
I know I don't have any facial hair. Okay.
I don't know if you've seen him. He shaved his mullet and then shaved it off.
He shaved the mullet too?
Oh yeah.
man, when did he do that?
Like a week ago.
Yeah.
Right before he got hurt, kind of like
See?
the Samson,
You don't mess with it.
Samson thing.
He's
Don't mess with
bald.
it.
Yeah. No, but he was phenomenal, and that's what I said. Like we've got some of the best players in the state. Like I think he and Jackson are both legitimate all-state candidates. If we can get the East Side to notice that, I think
Jackson had a couple dunks in that game I saw, right?
Yeah, he did some great dunks.
Yeah.
But I think they're both all-state candidates. So you expect them to be great, but then, we got two guys here that are playing as good as a lot of, or at a all conference level.
Yeah, and I want to talk about, obviously these guys are here. I want to talk about some other players too that aren't here.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is for consumption on podcasts. Just shut it down if it's not. But we texted. You look at Ambrose going to CMU for football, and I can't get that vision out of my head of he's going as a tight end, but I could see him becoming one day, sooner rather than later, a tackle with his feet and his frame.
No.
He can make some money doing that.
I know, but like he's just so like naturally gifted with his hands. That
No.
it's just like he could.
You need good hands to be a
really-
lineman too, though.
He could really be a NFL tight end.
I can't dismiss that either.
We've talked about it. He's considering it.
What do you think, Brayden?
I mean-
What's his fit? Do you think?
I mean, I see tight end more like catching the ball.
Yeah.
Not on the line as much probably.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you never know. But
He cannot block. I repeat, Travis Ambrose cannot block at all.
The thing with Trav is like tell him what he can't do and then watch him do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's got a work ethic and a determination to be successful. So whether he gets to Central and they keep him at tight end, or they figure he's a better fit or whatever, like they want to turn him into a kicker. You know what I mean?
Those guys
he's
know.
gonna find a
They'll
way to
figure it
succeed.
out.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he's developed he's developed a work ethic and commitment to being good. So whatever they see best for him, he's going to be coached up in it, and he's going to end up doing quite well.
So I know we're jumping around a little bit, but back to the Muskegon series. Played them Friday, lost by 20 at home. What were the differences then from the first time you played them to the second time you played them?
I feel like we struggled offensive side of the ball a lot. Like defense we still only gave up 48 points. Like,
you can win a lot of games doing that.
Yeah, we could be in any game giving up 48 points. It's only 3 more than the previous one.
Yeah.
But just the offense side, shots weren't falling, turnovers, just was an off night for us. We have those nights, and that was one of ours.
I feel like, honestly, I feel like it was kind of what we needed just to take that, get it out of the way, because I feel like beating the team twice would have been too big-headed going into the one that really matters. And it was a good way to understand that everybody can be beaten, and it's always something that you could do better.
That applies to the district, too. There's never any guarantees, but I was at the Muskegon Area Sports Hall of Fame meeting today, and there's already discussion about, the district Shores, I believe, right? And like, they're going to be, if Puffer and Muskegon meet in the final, they're going to be turning away like 1,000 people. That place is going to be a madhouse, but it'd be cool to see that matchup happen, but there's a lot of basketball to be played from now, between now and then. Your thoughts on that matchup Friday, though? What was it that you guys didn't do well? What was it that Muskegon did well?
There's never just one thing. They were incredibly hungry. I think we pissed them off.
Starved.
Yeah, and sometimes the hungry dog hunts the hardest. Not that we didn't play hard, not that we didn't want to win, but they came in with a huge chip on their shoulder, and they defended like crazy. I mean, we got a little bit frustrated maybe early, or a little frantic, and then taking a good shot instead of a great shot, and things just kind of unraveled a little bit. We got down early, and then kind of kept it at the 10 to 12 range, and then we cut it to 9. Brayden scored the first 5 points of the third, cut it to 9, and then we made a couple mistakes, and they capitalized on them quick, and then it was back to 14, and then we never really got closer. But like you said, they're a really good team. They're a top 10 team in the state. We respect what they do, and they kind of came in and did what they wanted on Friday. But what I told the kids is, we're not going to make excuses. We're going to get better. We're going to grow. If I told them back in November, listen, early February we're going to be 15-2 and 9-1 and have a split with Muskegon and control our destiny in terms of the conference race, like, I think we'd be pretty happy about that.
No, that's 2 really good teams, and I think when you played the first time, I was covering Whitehall and Shores because Cam was on the verge of becoming the all-time leading scorer for Whitehall.
Yeah.
And, Shores has improved, too. Obviously, Lewis, I think, is doing a good job over there. But yeah, I wish I could see those matchups, though. And, I enjoy covering the teams I cover, but it'd be cool to get over and see those now and then, too. But back to this week, you got Union tomorrow at Union. You've got Wyoming, which Tom Vanderklay just picked up win number 400. Guy knows his way around the bench.
Yeah.
And, Coach Neitzel back in the day and stuff. Then Saturday, you're playing in Wilson Chandler Invite at Grand Rapids Catholic Central against a top 5 North Farmington team. So just playing a really good schedule. How much is that helping you guys, just seeing this competition you are? You beat Coopersville, which is having a great season.
I feel like being able to play some of these teams from further away just gives us a advantage at, like, seeing those, or seeing Muskegon, prepares us just for, like, that type of athleticism, like, being able to defend those type of guys from the east side of the state. It just gives us an advantage to go in and really mentally lock in to play Muskegon or like Mona Shores or like some of those teams who are like more athletic than we are or like more gifted than we are. It just gives us an opportunity to showcase our skill set or develop our game.
Yeah, I feel like it prepares us. Like we've seen everything. I feel like especially on the defensive side, we've seen so many different defenses, and for any game now that we can be prepared for, and we shouldn't be shocked for what's going to come at us with playing all these different teams that we played for from all over the state. So,
do you think these guys aren't giving themselves enough credit in some ways? Like as far as saying, not as talented or whatever, do you think they're right up there?
Oh yeah.
I mean, obviously you're showing it on the court.
Yeah, like I think there's no doubt we can play with anyone in the state. You know, and that's an obstacle too. Like that's one thing we didn't mention is that like being able to beat Muskegon, the first thing you got to do is believe you can beat Muskegon.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to beat North Farmington, being able to beat Hudsonville or Rockford or some of those teams, like you got to believe you can do it, and that comes from the work that you put in the off season and your summer competitions. You know, we've been fortunate to be invited to play at Grand Valley with the best teams in Michigan the last couple summers. The BCAM, our coach association, puts on a thing where if you have a Division I recruitable kid, that's supposed to be the prerequisite to get in. And they take D1, D2, you know, kind of though. But if they're recruitable, then you get to play in that. And then our coach association teams up with Ohio's coaches association, and we got to play in that the last couple of years. So we've seen incredible players, incredible teams, and we've competed with them all. So getting into this, now summer is different than the regular season, obviously, in the prep and some of the stuff, but like talent to talent, like we can play with anybody, and they got to recognize that, and that's not based out of arrogance, that's based out of an earned confidence.
No, I think those things set a tone for your season. Obviously, the work you're doing with Dan Hunt, that helps. Obviously, the media day here at CatchMark just totally set you off on the right foot. You can't forget that.
We may be 2-15 if we hadn't done that.
If you hadn't done that,
Yeah.
let's just give proper
I was not
credit here.
here.
I know you. Where were you at?
Man, I don't even remember. What was I doing? Watching my brother.
Oh, okay. We'll let that's a good
That's what I'm
excuse.
saying, man.
We'll let that go.
Family,
But
man, family.
that just gives me a reason to shout out my boy John McCleve again. You know, for being so gracious and sponsoring that. It's cool when local businesses do that. Hopefully, he's doing well in his new career.
We miss you, John.
Yeah.
Talked to him the other night after the game for a few minutes.
I know he's still excited and follows you guys really closely.
Yeah, he's a huge supporter. Always will be, I think. It's one of those things that, like, when you leave a place, not necessarily because you want to, but because maybe it's the best thing for your family.
Yeah.
You know, and I think he still has that draw, you know, that connection to our kids. And, you know, obviously as these guys graduate, the last group that he works with, it might get a little less, but I think his heart's always going to be with our people.
So, not that a coach ever wants his kids to look ahead, but next week you got Zeeland East and Zeeland West. You played. I know there's an exceptionally tough game or tight game with Zeeland West last time you played them. You got the big road win. Again, that's a great, kind of a pretty good way to end your regular season, though. Tough way to end your regular season, but yeah, I mean it's shaping up to be almost like a pre-tournament kind of test for you guys. Those two games, right?
Yeah, and especially if we can get those two, we'll get a share of the conference, which will be huge.
Yeah.
First time in a long time. And
Plenty to play for.
yeah, lots in our hands. So.
Yeah.
I feel like just those two games at the end of the season will catapult us into the playoffs like really well. Just competing with those two teams at the end of the season, just the tenacity that they bring to the court is just like it's a different type of thing. Especially Zeeland West, they gave us a really hard fought win, and they really made us earn it. And I feel like that'll really push us into the playoff run, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like both those games are going to be high energy, high intensity because each
They
team
both want to get back.
Yeah, we beat them the first time. They're going to want to get a second time, and it should be a lot of fun for both of them.
One's on the road, one's at home. I mean, is there where do you guys prefer to be? I mean, most people might assume that you prefer to be at home, but there's some teams that are wired. We want to go on the road because we like going to that imposing gym and just shutting everybody up. So
I feel like for us, I don't know why, but I feel like we play better away just because it's a lot less to worry about fan-wise. You don't have to worry about nobody, like, I guess.
Yeah, I like home because just like used to our gym, like big student section that we can usually get. So, but we usually get kids to travel with us too, so that's a lot of fun.
How's it? What are your thoughts on that, Nate?
I think we've done some 6-pack of games where the girls, all three girls teams and all three boys teams play, and whether that's home or away, like that seems to provide a really cool environment. 'Cause then our boys get to watch the girls get to watch us, and those parents that may have. I don't think there's any that have both genders right now, not on the varsity level, but the parents that may want to come and support you, but have a daughter, or the ones that may want to go and support the girls, but have a son playing. So we get good crowds in those games, whether they're home or away. I think there's pluses and minuses to each. Like on the bus rides, these kids bond. They bring a speaker and they're singing and having fun, and those are cool memories that they'll probably remember more than a lot of the games. But you're also riding a bus, and most of our trips are 45 minutes to an hour. So you're getting home at 11 at night, or 10 at night, and then by the time I get done with all my stuff, it's 11, and then you got to go to school the next day. So in that regard, I'd much rather be at home, and just to be able to see my family and get home a little sooner. But I don't think it matters. Like, just you go and you compete wherever you go.
So switching gears a little bit, talking about these guys that are here. You brought these guys. Let's give them some shine. Yeah. What would you say about each of them, the role they play, and what they mean to your team?
I'll talk about Brayden first, and I don't know but Brayden B. Brady, like he goes by all three of them and answers to him. He's a second-year junior, started all last year.
Second-year junior, what, did you fail last year?
Second year, let me specify. He's a second-year varsity junior.
I knew what you meant. I was just being a smart ass like usual.
Brady is very old.
I guess I'm not going to ask him about his GPA now. So.
He's secret.
Oh, no, it's good.
Yeah, it's excellent.
I'll shut up now and let you talk. I'm sorry.
So Brady's a worker in, I think the people that come to our games and really know basketball recognize how good he is. The people that don't necessarily, that just look at, and he had 6 points, or he's at, I don't know, averaging 6, 7, 8, whatever it is. But he's impactful in so many ways. He's always in the right spot defensively. He's always in the right spot on offense. When the ball should move, he moves it. I don't know if he's missed a box out in 2 years, and just a super smart, intelligent kid. He comes from a basketball family. You mentioned his Uncle Tim and his cousin Caleb, super successful. And then, his older brother Kobe played for me. I got him just for a year. Super smart, great kid. Like I keep trying to get Kobe back here to coach, so and Brayden could coach basketball as well. One story about him that I'll share quick is when he was a freshman, baseball season, coach pulled him up to pitch a game. Like they're short on arms, and was it Shores, right?
Yeah, they were like top in the state at that time.
Yeah. And Brady threw 6 2/3 of shutout. Yeah. It's shutout baseball. Just so as a freshman, not scared at all. And then I think I texted him afterwards, and nothing back. Sorry, coach, I went in and shot for an hour. Like that's what he did after just having a huge game, and so like if you ever wonder about what it takes to be a successful player, like it's that type of commitment. It's not going home and getting on TikTok or getting on whatever it is or doing this or that. Like if you want to be great, then you work to be great, and Brady's done that.
Relatively speaking, I think I'd be more afraid of Coach Addig than I would be of Mona Shores. So
yeah,
does that apply or
much
not?
So
yeah, it's a lot of fun though. So
yeah. I've known him going way back too. He hit 1 or 2 moonshots off me when I pitched against him at Marshfield back in the day.
Do you remember when he was like in charge of the 3-on-3s? Like he would,
was he? I didn't know that.
Like not in charge of them. He'd hire refs or the court monitors and stuff, and I don't know if he knew it, but he was in charge. He hired me indirectly at some point. So,
do you know his real first name?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead and say it.
Francis.
It is. Did you guys ever call him that when you try to be serious with him?
That is actually his first name.
Charlie, you didn't know?
Bro, I've thought that has been like some joke this whole time.
No, that's his real first name. But he was huge, like he is now. I mean, he was just huge in high school. In fact, and even before that. So we played him. I'm from Ravenna, but he played for like the Roosevelt Park Pony League team, all-star team. And we went to the Roosevelt Park fields to play him. Here we are riding in with the coaches are fixing the mound or whatever. I've told this story before. Well, the game starts and this coach is doing warm-up pitches. I'm like, wait a minute, that's a player. He's huge. He's just a monster. Yeah, Butch was, but
in this little league, and Butch drove himself there.
Had
a pack of smokes in his
rolled up in his sleeve.
Yeah.
So I shared this with you. there was a photo from a Reeths-Puffer game. I started laughing because I thought of the movie Teen Wolf. Remember when I shared that to you?
Oh yeah.
That I thought it was him.
Like Brady.
That does not look like Brady.
Not really.
I didn't think it looked like him that much either.
Not really, but there's a
beard.
photo of him looking that way in a game that I saw somewhere. So that's what I thought of. You guys are way too young to know. You know what that movie is. You know what that movie is.
Oh yeah, Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf.
Great movie.
Look it up.
No, I never heard of it.
I know. Look it up.
Yeah, you get there's some great one-liners in there.
So, you want to keep the conversation here
Yeah,
on
well,
Brady, or you want to switch it over to Antrel now?
We'll
We'll get to talk about each other too.
Let's talk about Trell.
Yeah.
Trell is a 3-year varsity player as a senior. I'll state that very clearly. When I first got to Puffer, he's been with me every game, and throughout the entirety of the season. Trell is a really talented athlete. You see him in football, you see him in basketball, and he just instinctually kind of gets things. And he is, I think, I don't think there's a question. He's our best passer in terms of the way he sees the floor and kind of dissects things. His role is unique because we don't call on him to score a lot, and it's hard sometimes, I think, like to take that as a role. But it's incredibly important in that, like, he's got to be and can play as just a tremendous defender, and he can guard a 1 and he can guard a 5. Zealand West, he guarded Merritt Alderank, who is a Division I guy, and what did Merritt? I don't remember.
7 points.
Yeah.
How tall is he?
He's like
tall,
6'8".
Yeah.
And so
He was pinching me the whole game.
So Trell just athletically can match up with that, but then he's also guarded, some really good perimeter guys. So he's done a good job of playing his role. And, both these guys are people that they don't stack up a ton of stats.
Whoa.
Do you?
Whoa.
What are you looking at?
I do pad the stats.
I know, but you're not having 20 and 12. But he'll have 7, 5, 5, and 3.
Yeah.
And
Acting a game a lot of different ways.
yeah, and that's
Swiss Army knife.
That's what it takes to have success. It is, like, not everyone is gonna be Steph going for 30 or Jordan going for 30 or even Pippen going for 25 or whatever, or Klay Thompson.
Can I call a timeout real quick?
Yeah.
Who's better, Jordan or LeBron?
Oh dear.
I'm opening a can of worms. We're not going to get to the rest of the stuff I want to talk about. I just had to ask it because I thought about it because you brought up Jordan.
I'll go Jordan. Charles gonna go LeBron though.
Just because he's gonna want to argue with
We'd have these
Brady,
debates.
even if he doesn't feel that way.
no.
We'd have these debates
I'm gonna take
every day last year.
I'm gonna take Kobe.
Okay. I like that number.
He kind of played in both eras.
Yeah.
I mean,
Who you got?
between.
Jordan.
I got
Of
Jordan.
course.
You make today's players cry, I think.
All right.
I will say this though, because
you put Michael Jordan on a 7'3" Victor Wembanyama who can dribble the ball, shoot threes, make a turnaround, post fadeaway jump shot.
I think that it's like we get so wrapped up in comparing people.
We do.
And instead of just saying they're all phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like they're all incredible. So why is it like
I think NBA players are some of the best athletes in the world.
like but we feel a need to be like, oh, LeBron doesn't do this, LeBron doesn't LeBron's incredible. If even if he's not Michael Jordan, he's incredible. But we wanna step on somebody else to lift somebody else up.
That's a great point.
Like that's a societal.
It
we
is.
don't just do that with NBA players. We do that with each other, and it drives me nuts at times.
I can't remember if it was Dan or if it was like a little story you gave us before a game, but it has said all professional athletes are the same, but it's the mental aspect that like separates them.
Yeah, and I mean, there's some that are slightly more gifted than others. But I would say that a majority of, like, there was the article, and I didn't create this, but it was an article I shared with the kids. Like, the difference between the number 1 and the number 20 isn't necessarily talent. It's their mental makeup, and that's important for these guys to recognize too, because the difference between us and somebody that we've beaten isn't necessarily that great of a talent gap. Now sometimes it is.
And it has to do with, failure is not failing, it's growing,
Yeah.
learning.
Yeah.
If you can be okay with that
Yeah. But
and grow that way, yeah.
but the need to say somebody's not good to prove that somebody else is good, that drives me nuts. Like there's room at the table for everybody to be great.
I'm going to pretend that I didn't even bring it up. We're going to get back talking about Trell. So
Oh.
no,
I didn't mean to step on it.
No, you didn't step on me at all.
Yeah.
In fact, you're 100% correct.
Yeah. The answer is Jordan, but like
No, but you're right too, though.
Yeah.
There's room for all these dudes.
yeah.
They're all special in their own way, great players in their own right.
Yeah, but Trell is one of the most like energetic kids on our team. Like you hear him the most, right? And he brings energy to us, and that's a responsibility of his as well. Is really just to be an energy giver, and he's when he comes into the room, and it's been.
I could see that when we were doing the behind the helmet, which we're going to talk about that too.
Yeah, but he's been a key piece to our team for 3 years, and to see him grow and just the transformation in his body and like the strides he's made, like those are the things that make coaching really cool. Yeah. And Trell's a young man that I know for a fact that in 10 years, like we're still going to be talking, and he's going to be a part of my life. And he's not that he needs that, but that's something that like he and I have grown over the last few years, and that's something I just look forward to. Just watching him grow as a man and develop, get his own family, and take some of these lessons he's learned through athletics and have a great life after it.
So along those lines, what are in your plans? You know what you want to do?
Not exactly where I want to go to college, but I want to play football, pretty much. Kind of start lower level, D3, see where it goes.
Who are some folks you're talking to?
I've talked to Albion, Ohio Northern a little bit, Wayne State a little bit, Adrian, I'm visiting Thursday, Olivet, Calvin, JUCO school, and pretty much just a bunch of D3 schools. But just play football, see where it goes, and hopefully play at the highest level.
Any colleges that are listening? So what's your height and weight?
I am currently, at the moment, 6'4.5", 207 pounds, I think.
And we want to offer up Brayden the same thing. I know you got another year yet. Not trying to push you out the door yet. But what's your height and weight?
6'3", 205.
Yeah, both.
Coach has me listed at 6'4" on the.
Oh, yeah?
We can go by that.
You're not
Both
supposed
big
to
guys.
say that.
There's a couple kids that I messed it up, and the one thing I know is that you can't say too short, and I've done that on a couple kids, and I keep begging for a pardon. Yeah, but they're both pretty solid dudes.
Yeah.
My ball was 5'11".
Who?
Ty.
Oh, Ty. Yeah, he's not.
5'11".
Yeah, I just.
He is like 5'6" on the bad day.
Wait, I don't bring a measuring tape. I just send in a roster.
So what do you want to do? What do you think about wanting to do with your life?
I'm not real sure. Like college, I thought about like education. Like I'm not real 100% sure yet. So
Yeah.
a lot of time to think. Still another year.
Got some time to figure that out. So after sports, do you think this guy can make it in acting or not? Just because you probably saw
those
some of the
children's-
episodes behind the helmet.
No, stop.
I mean,
stop.
you need to see his children's theater shows too.
Oh
His
my
dancing and singing and all those.
I saw some of that theater class when Brooks got a shoe thrown in his face.
Oh, I forgot you came that day. Yeah, he's actually been in there. That was actually fun.
Yeah.
And I think back to Brady, like Brady, I think can play college basketball. It's a matter of finding the right fit too.
Baseball maybe too, or
I don't
baseball?
know. Whatever, if the opportunity comes.
And like Brady, like I say that about all our kids, like the goal is to be able to figure out ways to be successful, and like these guys are figuring it out. And I think both Brady's teachers are in education, so it kind of makes sense. And then for me, I'm like, if I'm still coaching when you're done with college, I'd love to like link up with that and team up on that. But and so if he goes into education, then you got a job. But I think he's going to be successful in whatever he chooses, and and pursues.
You think I could ever be a good coach?
I think you can. We're gonna keep working on some stuff.
Okay.
How do you think? What did you think of Antrel and Behind the Helmet?
I mean, I thought that was like a sweet, like the whole, like all the episodes. I watched them all and watched all the podcasts of those, and
How do you think he did, though?
I think he did.
I mean,
pretty
I'm
good.
not saying he was acting. I think, but he had that, like Coach says, that vibrant personality. You know, when he's in the room,
Yeah,
he just lights up a room.
likes to put himself out there and like kind to everyone. Like,
It kind of just happens. It don't really just like.
yeah, I thought he did like really good through it. Like,
yeah,
It's not just Behind the Helmet though. Like when we went to Hope Team Camp, he's now best friends with everybody from every school that we've ever run across.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like he's just
Eli Spencer from Coopersville. I love him.
he had a big game the other night.
He
Had
did.
made like 9 trades.
He actually called me after that.
Yeah, but like that's just Charles' personality.
I like that someone who can really compete like that, like hardcore, but then game respect game type thing. You respect the people you're competing against. That's really cool to see.
Yeah, but some of those experiences. These guys, like when we went to Hope, we were in a suite, and then next to us was Coopersville. So they became friends with a lot of them, and then we have.
Did the Van Sickle kid come to basketball camp too, or not?
Yeah. Oh my
yeah.
God. Oh my
He's a
God.
load,
bro.
right?
He literally flooded our bathroom tub. he made a bubble bath with just water, and then just sat in there. You know, he's like.
You know that's just a bath, right? If there's no bubbles, it's just a bath.
But he put a bar of soap in there. I'm like, bro, that's not a bubble bath.
the next morning there was just water all over the
Water
floor. It was
everywhere.
all over.
And then he was like, I didn't do it. Or like nobody else would do that.
But those are cool experiences. These guys
Yeah.
remember. That's
cool.
That's a lot of what high school sports gives you. Is those experiences and those memories.
So, Troy, what would you say about Brayden? How would you describe him? How would you characterize him?
Brayden is the most giving person on our team. He's always willing to give. He's never really like Coach said about me, being like an energy giver. Brayden's an energy giver, not like an energy taker. He always wants to push you to be the best person you can be, or he always wants to see you be the best at something you really want. Like if you want something, he's gonna push you to the point to where it's like you're gonna get it. He's not gonna let you quit on yourself.
What a compliment that is, B.
Thank you.
Really nice, yeah. So, what about some of your teammates? What can you guys? Who are some of the other kids? I don't want to leave anyone out, but anyone you want to give a shout out to? Guys who are just doing a great job, or maybe they don't even play a lot, but they just play an important role in some capacity.
I want to give a shout out to Grady Woodrum. He gets pummeled every day by Travis, and it's not fun. I don't know how he does it, honestly. Just being able to know every day that you're behind one of the best bigs in the.
Not everyone can be the
it's
all-state candidate or the starter or whatever.
Yeah,
everyone's got to play their role.
This is a tough spot when you gotta go in every day and just get banged up every day with this dude. And it's just you kind of grow so much to hate being beat up by him that you love it. You just love being.
And that's why you see teams a lot when the reserves get in and the stars are going nuts on the bench because they know what these guys go through, what they do for the team. Any guys, anyone you'd like to shout out?
I'd say JT Fansler, he's just willing to put his body on the line no matter what, take a charge any game. One of the best ones was at Zeeland West. He got in and he was I'm going to take a charge. Next play.
He literally
Takes
got.
it, yeah.
I think JT has a charge a game.
I think he does, and he just
think he does.
Zeeland West. He just called it, and next play he got it. That was.
Is he one of those guys too that in practice you hate when he's guarding you, or not?
Just-
I mean,
Sometimes you get teammates like that because they play really good
Honestly,
defense.
Honestly, I feel like he'd go for just at all of them, just everybody you see on the bench. Even though they might not get in the game as much, just the things that they do in practice help us be 15-2, or help us to get to where we are. Because without them, we wouldn't even be prepared for half of the games. Our Shores preparation was probably one of the best practices we have ever had. In my 3 years of playing varsity basketball, just the on-ball pressure that we had that day or those couple of days was just phenomenal, to where it was just a real game. We had a 15-minute session. It was supposed to be 10 to 7 minutes, something like that. It ended up being 15 to 20 minutes just because of how good of the runs were and how competitive that white team is. And it's they always bring it every day. And it's even though like they know that some games they aren't going to play or some games they won't get in as much, but they still every day they come to play and they come to work, and it's just like an appreciation of us to them.
Nate, how satisfying is it to hear that, to hear these guys talk like that, and to the teammates to support each other the way they do?
I think Brady said at the beginning, like we're a close-knit group, and that's what's allowed us to have this success. I said it a couple of times the last few weeks. Like, we're a lot better now than we were in November. And that doesn't come by playing 2 games a week. That comes from the practices we have, And so, those guys that, typically the starters are in green and the next group is in white, they've helped us get better. And they've got better throughout the process, and that's what it takes. It takes everyone buying into their role, and not necessarily being satisfied with it or okay with it, but coming each day with a positive attitude and trying to grow and develop. And we've just got the 11 dudes that just care about RP's success, and that's so hard in society, because you go home and somebody says, man, you're better than him, or you should get more shots, or you should do this, or like, why are they focused on this or this or that? And like, it's easy to buy into the, like, what's in it for me, and I get it, but this group has done a great job of just being in the moment and getting better every day, and I think, so we've said JT and Grady.
Yeah, I was actually going to say 2 more.
Go ahead.
Dre and Taylor. I don't know if anybody knows, but like Taylor played our freshman year, and then he didn't play JV. I think he tried out like the first day and just didn't come the second day or something. Did he play JV?
I think he played JV, didn't he?
I didn't play JV, so I don't know.
I think he was.
I didn't play JV.
No, I'm not saying it like that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But like JT and Dre, like they both have had like weird experiences with just like high school basketball. And senior year, they both came and decided to give it a chance, and I really just appreciate them just for taking that opportunity. And like,
I'm sure they're not regretting it either.
Yeah.
And like, he mentioned Dre Williams. Dre was on the team last year, tore his ACL week 2 of the season, not of games.
During a shooting game, like he was like
Jeez.
grabbing a rebound, tripped over his own foot. I was like, oh my God.
So he's had to overcome all of that, and
Freshman year, he transferred to Muskegon, sat out the basketball season. JV year, didn't play because of COVID for real. He was new. Nobody, like, they didn't really give him a chance. So it was just like situations like that, just being able to have a rough patch and then make it, turn it into like a good thing, and like not let it beat you up pretty much.
So this is totally out of nowhere, but what is, define or tell me what about Do-Rock?
Where did you just, okay. So pretty much took on a little mission. There was a dog who was bestowed upon me.
no, you gotta no. Like, Trell texted me, Coach, I'm bringing the newest member of the family.
He was not a new member.
Like,
he was actually gone same night.
like I'm bringing the newest member of the family to practice. So I'm like,
Okay.
a puppy, whatever it is.
Okay, so initially I thought it was like, so my brother's birthday was February the 9th, and my uncle told me he was going to get him a dog for his birthday. It's February the 8th. And I told Coach, I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right, this is the dog. I'm going to bring him to practice, right? I was wrong.
He came home and there was just a dog in a cage in his yard. And like, he's like, this must be our dog. So he brought it to school, named it Do-Rock. This is like full grown dog. No idea.
Huge,
Dog, yeah.
like huge.
And
He
like,
never came back. I got out of practice. We had team dinner. I was looking forward to him. I got there. There was no Do-Rock, no cage, no bowl, no water.
Graham was just, you're not keeping that dog.
She was laying in the bed. I was like, what happened to the dog? I don't know. Get out of my face.
The dog was just, Do-Rock was short lived, but Trell loved it for about an
think
The
hour.
legend lives on.
Well,
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
cool.
I was really looking forward to it, man.
So speaking of legends, let's put the focus, shine a light on Coach Aardema over here. What year did you graduate again? High school?
1998.
What do you remember about those days playing sports for the Vikes?
I wish I knew now, or I wish I knew then what I know now. You know, I wish that I'd kind of lived in the moment. I made a lot of the same mistakes that a lot of kids make, and I fell into comparison or this or that, and sometimes got in my own feelings, which probably prevented me from enjoying some things as much. I was on some pretty good basketball teams. I think we won 15, 16 games each year.
And who'd you have? Who were some of your teammates?
It was amazing. Marcus Williams, who I saw Friday. I haven't seen him in probably 20 years. He just comes walking down out of the stands. He lives
is that
in
the
Georgia.
dude you talked to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He lives in Georgia, and he was home for a family member passed, so not for a good reason. But Marcus Williams was an extremely talented kid. Mikey Daniels was a senior when I was a junior. He's really talented. Donnell Briggs was in my class. He was really talented. And then Craig Williamson was a senior when I was a junior. That team was really good, but pretty inconsistent. We honestly didn't get along great. Like we didn't all see it the same way. And then my senior year, I played with Brett Cagney, who was a really
great
good
catcher.
Yeah, great baseball player. I played with the Smeeze twins, Ben and Eric, both really good athletes. Donnell Briggs again. I don't know if you guys heard Nate McLouth. Like he was
kinda.
He ended up
Now,
being a Gold Glove winner at
You
the
talk
Pirates.
about professional athletes, and what made that do different than maybe the other? I could see it watching play baseball in really any sport.
Yeah,
There's just things he does and the way a person carries himself. It's just different.
yeah.
But how would you describe like work rate and just anything like that?
I mean, he was just a sophomore when I was a senior, and so he got pulled up to the basketball team, and our coach at the time, Mike Rowan, was basically like he hadn't played no ball defense on everybody, and like I feel so bad for the dudes he guarded just because he was so athletic, so quick. His anticipation was incredible, and he didn't get tired and was willing just to compete. But same kind of thing like I was talking about with Brady is that like we'd be done with practice, and I don't think I'd drop him off or whatever, and he'd go in his garage and hit off a tee for an hour, or do soft toss with his dad, and he was always working. I remember like that was before like things were all on social media and stuff, and I remember clearly like we were driving to Spring Lake, and we drove past Prospect Drive, I think it is. And Nate looks at me and goes, "Yeah, Prospect Drive. I'm a prospect." I go, "Are you?" And he's like, "Yeah, like I kind of am." And like that was when I first realized, like, oh, he is that different. Like, he was. Basketball was honestly his third best sport, but he was still as good as just about anybody by the time he was.
He was pretty electric in football too.
Yeah. I think he had offers to go play at like some of the service academies just to be an option quarterback.
Yeah. So how close tabs do you keep on with Subden, Christian Subden and Whitehall?
We talk
what they're
quite a
doing
bit.
now.
We talk quite a bit. Actually, I was with them yesterday. We went up to my daughter and his daughter and another family. We went up to Hart. You can pay $8 and swim in the pool to a hotel.
Yeah.
And then we went back to his house for his daughter Brighton's 4th birthday party. So I was with him yesterday, and we talk about basketball. He was there Friday supporting us. I try to support him as much as I can.
Whitehall's head coach.
Yeah.
So I want to get this involved. This is a good way to end this. What happens if Reeths-Puffer plays Whitehall this season?
Belt.
That's us.
Belt.
He doesn't want to answer it.
Because he knows he's afraid to say it.
They're a great basketball team. They're a really good basketball team.
But they couldn't swim with the big dogs.
What do you think of Camden?
Camden's really good. He's great. He just wouldn't have as great as a game.
Yeah, I like playing with Camden for Hardwood, and he's a really good player.
I would love to play with Camden.
Yeah, he's really fun to play with.
I would love to play with Camden.
Yeah, again, it's like we don't need to knock anybody else down.
No.
Feel good about ourselves.
Yeah.
Like I coach Christian. He coached on my staff. Like we're great friends. Like I'll root for him in any circumstance. That's one of the reasons we'll never play Whitehall.
Oh,
like,
yeah, I was about to say we would never play them, right?
I don't want to beat Whitehall, and I don't want them to beat us. But like I always root for Whitehall. Like that's never a doubt. And so I follow him, and I'm rooting for him all the time. That perfect season brings an a little bit of added pressure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's sometimes it might be like, man, would have been nice to just drop that Cadillac game or something.
Right. No, they got Manistee tomorrow. They should take care of that. They got Ludington Friday.
Yep.
So that'll be.
Yeah.
They beat them by 2 up
They
there.
got Ludington
on
home
this Friday at
or
home on
away?
this Friday.
Yeah, and this will be, then Christian can win 3 conference titles in 3 years.
Yeah.
And we won one the last year I was there, so that'd be 4 straight for Whitehall, which is phenomenal.
The Montague game was better than a lot of people thought, me and myself included.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like
64-62 Whitehall. They stayed unbeaten, but it was they got pushed a little bit by Montague.
I seen that. on
Yeah, I
Twitter.
seen the score.
pressure to be perfect, pressure to win in a certain fashion.
Yeah.
That all is impactful, and sometimes it takes a game where you barely slide by to refocus and regroup.
You guys got any closing thoughts before we sign off on this podcast? Any other thoughts?
I'm gonna be on the billboard.
What billboard are you going to be
For
on?
what?
I don't know. Just someday.
That is one of the
Just to
most
hope?
random.
It's gonna happen, bro. Watch.
For what?
I don't know. Something.
Just
Hey,
a goal.
Let's make sure it's positive.
Okay, look. If life just falls through, I'm gonna do stand up comedy.
Oh,
You think I could do it, Brayden?
I think you probably could.
That's what I'm saying. My dad told me I would suck. So
Trell's comedy show. That's the billboard just out there. Like,
it'll be so crazy. That would be tough. You think I could do it, Scott?
What's that?
You think I could do it?
I think you can.
Trell and Do-Rock.
See, he's got charisma. Well, I was going to say, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Do-Rock
Is
2.
Do-Rock already taken? It's already taken, right?
Yeah, no. I'm gonna have to get a new dog. Call him DC too.
There you go.
No, but he's got charisma.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a good trait to have. So,
B, you going to be on
What
any
about you?
billboards?
Not that I planned on so far, so I'll leave that one to Trell.
I'm gonna tell you what billboard you're gonna be on after this.
All right.
just don't be on the milk carton in your next game. They probably don't know what that means either because it's an
can you tell?
old person's thing.
What that mean?
Means you didn't show up.
They used to put missing people, like pictures of them, literally on milk cartons.
Oh yeah, no.
That was the way to
Coach
spread out.
Aardema, we actually have a saying. Coach Aardema asks me, "Am I ready?" Every game, I ask him, "Is it sand on the beach?" He just look at me like that, right there.
It usually gives me a big hug and picks me right up off the ground.
Crack his
Then we're
back
ready
a
to
little
go.
bit.
No, that's another. We can get into that topic too about just coaching and how gratifying it is, but how hard it has to be at the end of each season too, when you have to say goodbye to certain players or all your seniors and stuff. But
For me, I don't know how it's gonna be when this is all over. Just because, from just like when I first met Coach Aardema, it was hard liking you at first. It was different. it was really different. Like I wasn't. You brought a different philosophy to playing the game of basketball that I just like didn't really care about at first. Like just hustling or me using my frame to hustle was just like a big part of my game now. Like it's something I really take value in, and using my size to my advantage, or just like even bigger than that. Just like our relationship is just like unspeakable. Like people would never understand from the outside like how much of a relationship we really have because of those hard conversations that we have had like outside of basketball, like not on the court, or like those little things that we've talked about that you have guided me to the right decision instead of doing wrong. Like it's just a big part of my life that people never really get.
that's what it's about, man. What about you, Brayden? Any thoughts?
I feel like the seniors, like I played with them. Like my dad used to coach a team with, and it was all the kids in the grade above me. So it was like Jackson and JT were both on it, and then like it's just gonna be a lot different not playing with them. I've played with them, or like been around them while playing for a long time. So it's be a big change after they're gone.
And stuff. Well, you guys still got a ton to play for. A lot of big games coming up. Look forward to seeing how this shakes out for you guys. Going to thank our sponsors one last time: Big Stone Therapies, Rescue 2.0 LLC, Grieve Law, Edward Jones with financial advisor Brett Adkins, Coldwell Banker Will Schmidt with David Duesenberry, Farm Bureau Insurance, the Kenny Agency, 5-Star Real Estate Leaders with Matt Parker, the Birdhouse, Scheid Plumbing, Heating and Cooling, Greener Jewelry with Chris Dykeman and Sarah Reel, and of course our title sponsor Chris Wink Real Estate of Coldwell Banker Will Schmidt. Thanks a lot for watching Season 6, Episode 8 of the CatchMark SportsNet Podcast. Best wishes to the Rockets the rest of the way, man. Thanks for being on.
Thanks for having us.
Have a good week, everyone.
Thank you. That was fun.
Too.
Yep.
We good?
How you?